What if everything you've been taught about building wealth is completely backwards? The rich understand one fundamental secret that keeps them rich, while everyone else works harder but stays broke. This isn't about insider trading or trust funds or secret investments. This is about a mindset shift so profound that once you understand it, you'll never think about money the same way again. And here's the shocking part: 97% of people will never discover this secret, even though it's hiding in plain sight. Today, I'm revealing the biggest secret that rich people know but don't talk about. This is the knowledge gap that separates the wealthy from everyone else, and why working harder rarely leads to wealth. But before I reveal this secret, I need to show you why it works, because buried in the psychology of this secret is a surprising truth about time that explains why most financial advice actually keeps you poor. Stay with me, because when you see this connection, everything changes. Let's start with what most people believe about wealth, because this belief is precisely what keeps them trapped. Most people think wealth comes from earning more money. Get a better job, make six figures, climb the corporate ladder, and wealth will follow. But here's the shocking reality that rich people discovered long ago. Income and wealth are completely different things. The average American earning $100,000 annually has a net worth of $73,000. Meanwhile, someone earning $60,000 annually might have a net worth of $300,000. How is this possible? Because the rich understand that wealth isn't what you earn, it's what you keep and grow. Here's the data that proves this. A study of 10,000 millionaires found that only 15% ever earned over $200,000 in a single year during their wealth-building phase. 85% of millionaires built their wealth on middle-class incomes, through understanding and applying the secret I'm about to reveal. This should fundamentally change how you think about your financial potential. The rich know something that creates this result. They understand that money is not the goal. Money is a tool. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people use money as a consumption tool, to buy things and experiences. Rich people use money as a multiplication tool, to buy assets that create more money. Let me show you what this looks like practically. Average person earns $5,000 monthly, spends $4,800, and saves $200. That $200 goes into a savings account, earning basically nothing. Rich person earns $5,000 monthly, spends $3,000, and deploys $2,000. That $2,000 goes into assets that generate returns, dividends, rental income, or business profits. After 1 year, the average person has $2,400 in savings. The rich person has $24,000 in assets, plus whatever those assets generated. After 10 years, the gap becomes a canyon. The average person might have $30,000 in savings. The rich person has $300,000 in assets, plus a decade of compound returns, plus income those assets generated, which was reinvested. The wealth gap isn't about earning, it's about deployment. But here's the shocking truth that very few people understand. The real secret isn't just about buying assets instead of stuff. It's deeper than that. The rich understand that time is the most valuable asset, and they use money to buy time, which they then use to make more money. This is the secret hiding in plain sight. Most people trade time for money. They work 40 to 60 hours weekly, earning hourly wages or salaries. Their income stops when they stop working. Rich people do the opposite. They invest money to create income streams that don't require their time. Then they use that freed time to create more income streams. This compounds exponentially, while working a job only compounds linearly. Real-world application looks like this. Someone making $70,000 annually working 50 hours weekly is earning $27 per hour. If they took $10,000 and bought dividend stocks yielding 4%, that's $400 annually in passive income. Not impressive yet, right? But here's where the secret activates. That $400 bought them 15 hours annually. They don't have to work at their $27 hourly rate. They can use those 15 hours to develop a side income, learn a higher income skill, or invest in another asset. More importantly, they can scale this. As their dividend income grows, they buy back more time, which they deploy into creating even more income. This is the time buying time loop that creates wealth. Now, let me transition to the second part of this secret, because understanding asset thinking is only half the picture. The other half is what the rich know about leverage that completely changes the game. Most people think leverage means debt, and debt is bad. Rich people understand that leverage means using other people's resources, time, money, or expertise to multiply your results. And used correctly, leverage is the fastest wealth accelerator that exists. Here's the shocking statistic: 92% of millionaires used some form of leverage to build their wealth. Real estate investors use the bank's money to buy properties. Business owners use employees' time to scale operations. Investors use compound returns to leverage time itself. The rich don't just work hard, they make their money work hard, and they make other people's resources work for them too. But here's what most people miss about leverage: it's not just about borrowing money, it's about creating asymmetric returns, where a small input creates a large output. Let me give you examples across different leverage types. Financial leverage example: you buy a $200,000 rental property with a $40,000 down payment. The property appreciates 5% annually. That's $10,000 gained. But you only invested $40,000. So your return is 25%, not 5%. You leverage the bank's money to amplify your returns. This is how real estate investors build wealth faster than stock investors, even though stocks might have similar appreciation rates. Time leverage example: you spend 20 hours creating an online course that sells for $100. You sell it to 100 people, earning $10,000 for 20 hours of work. That's $500 per hour. But then you sell it to another 100 people, earning another $10,000 with zero additional time. Now you've earned $20,000 for 20 hours. $1,000 per hour. This is time leverage, creating once and selling infinitely. Expertise leverage example: you don't know how to invest in stocks effectively. So, you invest in low-cost index funds that leverage the expertise of thousands of companies' management teams. You're leveraging their knowledge and execution without needing to understand every business. This is why Warren Buffett recommends index funds for most people. It's expertise leverage. Network leverage example: you connect two people who end up doing business together. One person has capital, another has an opportunity. Your connection created value, and smart, wealthy people ensure they participate in that value through finder's fees, equity, or future reciprocity. This is how the rich seem to stumble into opportunities. They've built networks that leverage other people's resources and opportunities. The wealthy don't just work harder, they work more strategically by stacking different types of leverage. They use financial leverage to buy assets, time leverage to create scalable income, expertise leverage to multiply effectiveness, and network leverage to access opportunities. Each type of leverage compounds the others. Before I reveal the deepest level of this secret, the part that really separates the rich from everyone else, let me remind you about that time truth I mentioned, because what I'm about to share will show you why most financial advice actually keeps you trapped in poverty thinking. Here's the third and most powerful part of the secret. The rich understand that wealth building isn't about sacrifice, it's about optimization. Most financial advice tells you to cut expenses, live below your means, sacrifice today for tomorrow. And while there's truth in spending less than you earn, this advice misses the bigger point. Rich people don't focus on cutting expenses. They focus on increasing the gap between income and expenses. But they do it primarily by increasing income rather than decreasing quality of life. This is the mindset shift that changes everything. Instead of asking, how can I spend less? They ask, how can I earn more without trading more time? Here's the data that proves this approach works better. Studies of wealth building show that people who focus primarily on expense reduction save an average of 5 to 10% more of their income. People who focus primarily on income expansion through side businesses, investing, and skill development increase their savable income by 30 to 100%. The math isn't even close. But here's what's fascinating. The rich also optimize expenses, but they do it strategically. They cut ruthlessly on things that don't matter to them, so they can spend freely on things that do matter. This isn't deprivation, it's intentionality. They might drive a 10-year-old car, but take luxury vacations. They might live in a modest house, but invest heavily in their health. They optimize rather than sacrifice. Real-world application means auditing your expenses through two filters. First, does this purchase align with what I actually value? If you value experiences but spend money on possessions, that's misalignment. Second, does this purchase move me toward financial freedom or away from it? If it creates ongoing income or significantly increases your earning potential, it moves you forward. If it just feels good momentarily, it moves you backward. Here's a practical example. Someone making $60,000 annually spends $3,000 on a vacation. Average financial advice says that's foolish, save that money. But if that vacation rejuvenates them, improves their mental health, and helps them perform better at work, leading to a promotion, the $3,000 investment generated $10,000 in increased annual income. That's a 333% return. Rich people make these calculations instinctively. They invest in things that multiply their effectiveness, energy, creativity, or opportunities. They cut spending on things that don't provide those returns. This is optimization thinking, rather than scarcity thinking. Now let me connect this to that time truth I promised, because here's what makes this entire secret work. The rich understand that building wealth isn't a linear process, it's exponential, and exponential processes have a crucial characteristic. They look like nothing is happening for a long time. Then suddenly, everything happens at once. This is compound growth. Imagine investing $1,000 annually at 8% returns. After 5 years, you have $6,336. Your money grew by $1,236. After 10 years, you have $15,645. Still not life-changing. But after 30 years, you have $122,346. And after 40 years, $295,562. Notice what happened. In the first 5 years, you gained $1,200. In years 35 to 40, you gained over $100,000. Same annual contribution, wildly different results. This is exponential growth, and it explains why patience is the ultimate wealth-building advantage. Here's why most people fail. They start investing, see minimal results for 5 or 10 years, and quit. They don't understand they're in the slow part of the exponential curve, right before it turns vertical. The rich understand this curve intimately. They know that wealth building looks like failure for years before it looks like success. This connects back to the time secret. The rich use money to buy time early in this curve, because they know that time is what allows compound growth to work its magic. Every year you delay starting, you lose exponential returns you can never recover. Starting at 25 versus 35 doesn't just cost you 10 years of contributions. It costs you 30 years of compound growth on those contributions. Let me show you the shocking math. Someone who invests $500 monthly from age 25 to 65 at 8% returns ends up with $1.7 million. Someone who invests the same amount from age 35 to 65 ends up with $744,000. Starting 10 years earlier more than doubles the final result, even though you only contributed $60,000 more. That's the power of time in exponential systems. Now here's the climax, the deepest insight that reframes everything. The biggest secret the rich know is this: wealth isn't actually about money at all. Wealth is about having options. Money is just the tool that creates options. The rich optimize for optionality, not for dollars. Think about what wealth actually provides. It's not the ability to buy expensive things. It's the ability to say no to things you don't want to do. It's choosing how you spend your time. It's pursuing opportunities without worrying about income. It's helping people you care about. It's security and freedom and peace of mind. Money enables all of this, but money itself isn't the goal. This reframes every financial decision. Instead of asking, will this make me rich? Ask, will this increase my options? Buying a luxury car decreases options. You've converted liquid capital into a depreciating asset. Investing in dividend stocks increases options. You've converted capital into perpetual income that buys back your time. Starting a side business increases options. You've created an additional income stream and developed new skills. So here's the complete secret that rich people know. Wealth comes from treating money as a tool to buy time and create options. Use leverage to multiply your results without multiplying your effort. Optimize for income growth rather than just expense reduction. Understand that compound growth looks like nothing for years before it becomes everything. And ultimately, optimize for optionality rather than dollars. Because options are what wealth actually provides. That's the secret. The rich know that wealth building is about playing a completely different game than everyone else is playing. While most people are trying to look rich, the wealthy are trying to be free. And that difference in objective creates all the difference in outcome. If you found this secret valuable and you want more insights into how wealth actually works, subscribe for more insights like this.